Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 291. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Chasers, what's good? KC, what's up, dog? How we doing?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm hot today.
A little flustered?
Got some bones to pick.
Hmm?
I've had enough of the incompetence with certain baseball fans, with certain fan bases. I've just had enough. I really have.
Okay. We got anybody in mind specifically, or any fan bases that you're thinking about?
This little ditty goes out to the people that just don't watch baseball, and
yeah.
we're just gonna jump right into it, and it's the All-Star voting, and how the All-Star voting is an absolute sham.
Yeah,
it's fraudulent. It's borderline illegal.
Yeah.
The system is broken, as you said. There are so many things wrong, so many issues with the whole process.
Yeah.
That just make it. It's honestly getting me to the point where I'm not going to have any interest watching the All-Star game if the voting continues the way that it's going. And I know nothing's really changed. I mean, I know Major League Baseball has implemented structures in terms of phase 1, phase 2, so on and so forth, and they've made some tweaks here and there. But overall, it's not an all-star game if it's turned into a popularity contest.
Yeah. There's got to be some eligibility rules. You know what I mean?
Like,
it's just, you got to be able to qualify.
At minimum, you should at least, if you're a position player, you should at least see one pitch in the box, and you should at least be on the field for an inning. That's really all I ask. I'd
say I'm going to need you to, one, be healthy right now. 2, I'm going to require 75% of games played this year. That's my eligibility. That's what that's not bad, right?
I mean, we're on two different wavelengths here, because literally all I ask is one inning in the field and a pitch.
No, I need more.
No, we have Fernando Tatis Jr. as the 5th ranked shortstop on the voting right now, and he has not seen a pitch.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there are many other people that are in agreement with me, and with you as well, that this is it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's an absolute joke.
I feel like it's turning a little bit of, the NBA All-Star game. And it's what's the point? You know what I mean? What's the point of voting somebody in that you're not going to see? Why are you voting for him as a fan? You're not going to see Tatis.
No, but that's the issue. Well, yes, in terms of not seeing a guy that's hurt. But I'm saying the issue with this whole thing is you can't assume, again, not talking about Tatis here, but I'm talking about a guy that just doesn't deserve to be in the game. There's nothing saying that guy couldn't be in the All-Star game if he receives enough votes. And that's the issue with this whole system, is because you look at the ballot and go, you know what, this guy isn't deserving of an all-star spot, but I really like him. I'm going to vote for him. And hundreds of thousands of people do the same thing. He's going to be the starting whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And that's what's messed up about this whole, there's nobody on this list or on this ballot that you can look at and say, well, he's definitely not going to be on it. Because like I said, if it turns into a meme, or if there's a hashtag, or if there's a movement behind it to get fill in the blank player to the All-Star game, it's going to happen because that's just how these things go. And that to me, that's a joke. And the fact that the All-Star selections and all that, like we've talked about before, how that's included in the arbitration conversations, that there's something
I think that's got to go
really,
too.
That's something inherent. There's an inherent flaw there.
Yeah, I think I'm curious like if we'd ever find out how many contracts have that incentive, of winning an all-star appearance or whatever. You get a little kickback, $100,000, $250,000, whatever they toss in. Because I think there's some guys that like, I think it means more. It means more, and both financially and the actual opportunity. You know what I mean? And we'll run down the list and we'll go, through players that we feel like should be getting some looks. But, the truth is, Tatis, 1, can't play. 2, hasn't played, so shouldn't be even on the ballot. And 3, has, over $300 million coming his way. What is the incentive in that contract for an all-star appearance? Is it there? Is it not there? Is every contract in the big leagues include that? Is that a normal thing to toss in? Is it sparing? Are certain teams selective on who they provide that type of incentive to? I would say it's kind of pointless if you're a superstar. You know what I mean? It's fun. That's cool. But if we're gonna go, we've taken away the meaning behind it, right? Winning the game between the AL and the NL no longer means anything.
Which, by the way, in the comments, I discovered that there are people that still think that the All-Star game the outcome still has some sort of impact on the World
that's
Series,
gone.
which is another issue. We have these people voting.
See, I would argue, if we're going to have fun with it, let's just turn all the way into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just go all in on having fun with this. And now that the NL, AL, we're not having to worry about really any differences, why not fantasy draft this thing? Take your 2 top vote getters and let them fantasy draft it out. How cool would it be you're going to an All-Star game and you're seeing Max Scherzer match up against Frankie Lindor, teammates during the regular season, but they're playing against each other in the All-Star game. That sounds fun, right? Like, if we're going to have fun with this, let's just go all the way that way.
Well,
let's
if we
not
take
have fun, half try to make it worth something. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like if you're gonna turn this into a popularity contest, stop trying to feed us this like midsummer classic, like nostalgia aspect, because it's not what it is. If it's a popularity contest, you're throwing integrity out the window. This game, once you got rid of the World Series implications for home field advantage, once you got rid of that, once you threw that out the window, the integrity went with it, and then which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with that. Like, if we just want to make this an exhibition game, like we've evolved it into over the past number of years, like that's fine. But you're gonna have to reassess the way that you're presenting it. You're going to maybe even have to change the name of it, because it's not an all-star game if you're allowing guys that aren't deserving or haven't put up the numbers halfway through the season to be in a position to be at this event. You're going to have to maybe, and I don't have the answer, and I know it's easy for us to sit here and rail on the all-star game and the voting and all that, but like to me, it just seems simple that if it's a popularity contest, change the name, change the way you're marketing it, because I've seen countless teams on social media, and I get it. It's their team, it's their organization, what other approach you're going to take, but they're encouraging fans to just straight ballot it up and down the lineup. Our guys, our guys, our guys. And they're like retweeting it, they're liking it, they're saying this is the way it should be. And I get it. It's social media engagement. Like That doesn't bother me, but it's the fact that
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
So they're encouraging their followers and their fans to just pick the entire team's lineup. Like I know the
Their
Guardians
specific fan base.
Yes.
So if you're in Cleveland, you're going to vote just all
Guardians, and like they're encouraging this. And like I said, I get it. That's like you're not going to encourage your fans to vote for somebody else.
Yeah, that's been there for a little bit. You know, that type of marketing.
Yeah, but it's like at the same time, if you have the teams that are a part of this institution that are pushing this narrative, pushing this approach to the All-Star game, that you really don't stand a chance of having this being an actual All-Star game if the teams that make up the league are pushing this.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the requirement of, you know, at least having one representative from each team, I think that should stay.
Yeah,
I don't think that can go anywhere. You know, because even those lower level market teams, you're still going to be able to find somebody. You know what I mean? Somebody that's deserving. You know, for the A's, for the Pirates, you know, for teams like that, you know, they deserve to have somebody there. I think that should stay, but I think it's just an eligibility thing. That's all. Just remove people that aren't eligible. They should not even be on the ballot. If you haven't had a certain amount of plate appearances, if you haven't had a certain amount of, you know, mound appearances, that type of thing, then you're out. I'm sorry. Like, you just can't be eligible. No one is allowed to vote for you. You're not a part of that selection process. What's the point? And for you fans, why are you voting for Tatis? Why? To see him in warm-ups? See him with no hat on and a little bandana and glasses?
His glasses,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
fresh though.
He's dope. He's super swaggy. But why? Why vote him? I don't get that. What is the point of that? Are most fans just people that don't watch baseball? Like the ones that are voting, are those the ones that are like, I don't know, I haven't watched any games this year, but yeah, Tatis is on here. I'm sure he's doing well. Let me click him.
But it begs the question: if you're not watching baseball, why would you vote?
That's what I'm confused about. Who's voting?
Because like
it takes people actually watching or not.
I'll admit it takes a lot for me to get around to voting, and like as you know, I watch baseball every single day. But it's like
I agree.
I'll get around to voting one of these days, and in some years, to be honest with you, I just don't even vote because I'm like, I can't.
Right.
It's fine.
I think I've maybe voted 3 or 4 times in my life.
Just because it's not like a huge deal to me. Like I watch the game every single year, but it begs the question: if these people aren't watching baseball on even a semi-regular basis, are they really having the motivation?
Right, to go
to even vote, because like we're not doing it, so chances are people like that aren't going to do it. But I
think it's just like the same like 20 people. They're just voting over and over again.
Well, so it's, if I remember correctly, it's 5 times a day, every day, you can vote. And so it leads me to my next question, which is, do you think, because I've seen a lot of people call for this, and I have my own opinion on this, but I'm curious how you feel about it. Do you think the process should be taken away from fans, and that it should revert back to being more of an actual all-star game or event?
I think it should be broken up into thirds. Fans vote counts for a third. Players vote counts for a third. And then you can do like coaches and front office count for a third. What's wrong with that?
I like that approach. I mean, maybe a twist or a tweak that I would put on it would be just keeping it between fans and players, but have the players be the ones that get you through that first wave, that trim away all of the undeserving players that the fans would otherwise vote for. Once you have the players vote on it, because I've seen a lot of people say, leave it up to the players, leave it up to the peers, they should be the ones voting. Which I think is a valid point. If you let them vote for the first wave, then you, like I said, you cut out that excess, and then you leave it up to the fans. Like, okay, here are the people that are legitimately eligible. Well, based on
here's
my
thing.
Think.
Here's my thing on the players and coaching / front office side of things. I think it's the Gold Glove award where you can't vote for the coaches can't vote for their own player on their own team, right?
I think that's
is
right.
it the Gold Glove?
I think it's the Gold Glove, yeah.
So you put in a vote for another player. Like, that's the way it should be. Fans, do whatever you want. There's no way of containing that. Vote for whoever. If you say you can't vote for your favorite team, I'm just going to go in there and select a different team, right? So I think players and front office, those categories, I think should only be eligible to vote for other teams. And I think there's a lot more that they're seeing on their end, right? Front office and coaches and players, they're studying other they're studying other teams and players constantly. Constantly they're studying. So it's like, why not? You're either playing against them and you can see their talent, or you're studying to prepare against them, right? To play against them.
Right. Yep.
So it's like, obviously you're going to have knowledge about those other players. So that's the way I would do it. And just, break it up into thirds. It doesn't make sense for fans to control the entire thing. Just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Like I said, it's just turned into a total joke.
And I get it, because like what is it? It's either all-star or superstar. That's it. So like, how do you define that? We're defining it in a different way. I don't think an all-star game is just about superstars being there. If they're superstars, they're going to get there on their own with their talent, not their name, not their popularity, right? Let's vote on what they've done this year. And there's guys that are getting overshadowed, and like, how do you break into that next level, right? How do I bust through that next level and become a household name if I'm not a superstar? It's opportunities like this that you're cutting me short from. You're not giving me an opportunity to get known, right? Ty France is not a household name. He needs to be. How does he break through that? Get him in the All-Star game, right? Get him in the All-Star game. We already know who Vladimir Guerrero is. Incredible player, potentially, a future Hall of Famer. We know what he's capable of. But if he's not doing the numbers this year specifically to get into the All-Star game, then what are we doing? Then it is just a popularity contest. It's not an All-Star game. So decide what you want to be and go from there. But it's unfair for these guys that are trying to break through and become a household name and deserve to be a household name. Because when you talk to Mariners fans, and you listen to the broadcast, you listen to those coaches, they're telling me that Ty France is basically the same bat-to-ball skills as Edgar Martinez. That's somebody that needs to be seen more. He's clearly shining this year during a very disappointing Mariners season. So even more so that we need to get his name out there, because he deserves to be appreciated and acknowledged for what he's done this year. And who knows what that does for a guy. And that's a guy that I think probably has a nice little incentive, a little bonus in his contract if he does get in.
You want to look at this list?
Let's look at this list. Let's run it down.
All right, starting in the National League. Remind me how you wanted to do this again as we go through the list.
Let's just go yes or no, like correct or incorrect.
All right, National League, starting behind the dish. The top vote getter, and this is as of the first Phase 1 update of fan voting, and this was from June 21st, so Tuesday. National League, behind the dish, we have Wilson Contreras at the top.
Correct. That's a correct vote right there.
Yeah.
In my mind. Without looking at numbers, really, I think, he's having a great year. Yes. I think that's a good one.
You got Yadi Molina coming at 3.
So this is where this specific scenario is what I'm thinking here. when you have voting, right, you have guys that are eligible or ineligible to be able to vote for on the ballot. And I think there needs to be like an invite group where maybe that manager for each team has like a list of maybe 3 guys that they get to personally invite. Yadier Molina, you could throw them in the category with Wainwright and Pujols and just say, hey, they're about done. We know they're heading out the door, but they're legends. They deserve some attention for what they've done in their career. Let's celebrate them by inviting them. That's right. Different from a fan all-star ballot vote. You know what I mean? Let's invite them just because they deserve it. They've earned that throughout their career. And they may not, I don't know, that invitee can get some playing time, but maybe is not like a starter, you know? Something like that. That would work for me. And that would kind of justify getting Yachty there. But overall, should Yachty be third on this list? No.
I'm with you. First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
Duh. Yeah. Nailed it.
Top. That's easy pick. I mean, we talked about it last episode, looking at the more likely than not, the front runner of the National League MVP race right now. Second base, we've got Jazz Chisholm. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's wrong.
Really? Who are we thinking over him?
Well, it's, again, I mean, we can look at the numbers here. I'm just thinking that, is it just me, or is maybe the second base field in the NL this year
it's light,
weaker than usual?
It's light. Definitely light.
I mean,
what's Jazz's numbers looking like?
So Jazz is hitting 248, 14 bombs, 45 ribbies, on base of 320, OPS plus a 137. So, I mean, all things considered, having a pretty solid year, but is there really nobody?
Jeff McNeil, I think, is the next closest.
And even Jeff McNeil,
he's got a better OPS. He's got a 143 OPS plus.
He's lacking in the power category. Yeah. 4 bombs. He's hitting 327 though.
Yeah,
so he's hitting what?
Way above.
80 points higher.
You got 74 knocks on the year.
About 80 points higher. Yeah, 33 ribbies, OPS 850, OPS plus 143.
I would say he's going to be the only other one that would compete. I think it's just light. I would probably vote Jazz myself.
All right, hand up. That's on me. I would have assumed that it would have been a little deeper, but
if Ozzy wasn't hurt, Ozzy Albies all day.
Yeah.
If he wasn't done for the next couple months, I'd vote Ozzy.
I don't know though, dude. Ozzy hasn't been having the greatest year. I mean, 8 home runs. He's hitting 244, 33 ribbies, OBP of 289, OPS of 694, and OPS plus of 89.
Never mind. All right. Well, yeah. Well, then we're good. We're good. Jazz is there.
Why do Braves fans hype up Ozzy Albies so much? I've never understood that.
That's what I've been trying to say. I like Ozzy, but I don't get the infatuation.
A career OPS of 105, OPS plus of 105. What are we doing?
He gets hot streaks, but other than that, I'm he's got the tools to be better. I get the eye test. He definitely passes the eye test. When you watch, you're like, yeah, that guy's a stud. Then you look at the numbers, you're like,
yeah, okay. So I'll give
middle of the road.
I'll give Jazz the 1A. Jeff McNeil is, to me, a very close 1B. It depends on what you value. It really does, because hitting for average, OPS plus, again, whatever you value, you can make an argument for, in my opinion, either one of those guys.
Yeah.
Ozzy Albies is just up there because it goes back to the popularity thing. Third base, Manny Machado, pretty easy pick there.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado in second, as he should be. I don't know. I like that top three: Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Austin Riley.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm cool with that.
Shortstop, Trey Turner. That is correct to me. Where I have an issue, I feel like Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edman's leading the league in WAR. Is he not? He's at least top 3.
Tell me how Tommy Edman is just above Fernando Tatis Jr. Like, nothing against Fernando Tatis Jr. in that respect. Like, I know we just went off on why he's even on this list, but the fact that Tommy Edman is just over a guy that hasn't even played an inning this year.
Pull up Trey Turner for me. I'm going to pull up Dansby. So Dansby Swanson, 2.7 WAR accumulated this year so far. He's hitting 295, 10 jacks, 38 ribs.
Hold on. Dansby's hitting. Let's go category by category here.
295.
Trey's hitting 307.
OPS of 833.
OPS for Trey is 838.
OPS plus 127.
OPS plus of 130 for Trey.
10 jacks.
9 bombs for Trey.
38 ribs.
50 RBIs.
11 stolen bases.
14 for Trey.
Ooh, that is like very, very close.
I'm perfectly okay with Trey. I am
too.
I didn't have any question there from the get go. But
props to Dansby though. Good year.
Yeah, having a very good year. Let's look at Lindor.
But Tommy Edman, come on.
Pull up Edman's numbers. I got Lindor's up.
All right.
This, I have a feeling, comes down to popularity.
What was the WAR for Trey Turner?
I didn't have it. Trey Turner's WAR this year, 2.5.
Okay. I got Tommy Edman, so whenever you're ready to read.
All right, I got Lindor. So 11 bombs for Lindor.
7 for Tommy.
Lindor's hitting 243.
278.
52 ribbies.
29 ribbies.
8 stolen bases.
16 stolen bases.
OBP of 319.
352.
OPS 731.
770.
OPS plus a 108.
122.
WAR of 1.7 for Lindor.
WAR of 4.1 for
Yikes.
Tommy Edman.
I'm sorry.
Tommy Edman needs to be in the conversation.
Tommy Edman, I've said it in recent episodes, I'll say it again. Tommy Edman does not get the respect that he deserves.
I don't like the fact that voters are comparing guys with different playing styles. Tommy Edman is not going to put up Frankie Lindor power numbers ever. It's just not going to be. He's not that guy. But does that mean he's less of a value? No. He just does it differently. And props to him for being a second baseman and sliding over to play shortstop, filling a hole for his team.
I think he plays the outfield too.
And leading the league in WAR. Like, what are we doing, bro? Get this guy in here. Get this guy in here, stepping up for your squad, playing a position that's not your primary position, and leading the league in WAR. Bro, get out of here. Now, to be fair, numbers-wise, if we're looking at like the main numbers, yes, I could see why it'll be a little bit more difficult to compare him to Trey Turner. But at the same time, you're like, this guy's doing his thing.
No, like I said, I'm good.
He's
going to
end up with an 8 or 9 WAR at the end of the year.
I'm good. Like I said, I'm good with Trey at the top, but Tommy's got to slide in there.
Yeah.
Top 3. And it's not even particularly close either. As of this update, he's like, he has half the votes that Lindor does, which doesn't make any sense.
Dumb.
Less than half the votes that Dansby has. DH, you got Bryce Harper at the top, as he should be. And as it stands right now, the top vote getter in the National League.
Yeah. Perfect. It's good for me there.
I was told that Bryce Harper was overrated, though.
Overhated. Plug.
Fair.
Plug for the shop.
Fair. True. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Albert Pujols, like you talked about. I mean, you got Pujols sliding in at 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, just
add
another
him to
let's
the
get him
invite
the
list.
invite list. Yeah. Give each manager 3 guys they get to personally invite. And it makes sense. You no longer have to use up votes on guys that aren't deserving of that.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Nothing wrong with Albert getting votes. I'm just saying that he's not having an all-star year. So he shouldn't even be in contention.
The outfield, you got Mookie Betts at the top. Or no, hold on, pump the brakes. Bryce Harper's not the top. I didn't even realize that we still had outfielders left. Bryce Harper is not the top vote getter in the NL. But he has over a million votes. Mookie Betts, it appears, is the top vote getter. Yeah, third most behind Acuna and Betts at number 1.
Yeah.
Still impressive. You got Betts, Acuna Jr., and Jock Peterson coming in at 3. How do we feel about Jock at 3?
Is it just me? Or is there like a bit of a drop off in the NL outfield position?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people clamoring for Juan Soto. Juan Soto hasn't been having a great year.
Yeah,
for his standards.
He's hitting like 240, something like that, 220. He's down there in batting average.
We haven't really talked about Soto in a while. Let's look at how he's been doing. I know it's not good.
I'm gonna pull up Jock.
Soto's got 14 bombs. He's hitting 214.
Yeah.
Still has a respectable OBPs at 365. The dude just is a walk machine.
Yeah, he just walks. Yeah,
he's just a walk machine. He's leading all of baseball in walks.
Yeah.
OPS a 796, OPS plus a 130.
Yeah. It's sorry. What's the WAR looking like?
For Soto, it's a 2.1.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good year for a lot of guys. It's just not a typical Soto year. We're not used to seeing this, which is crazy to me. Like, you got to remember, he's still doing this with zero protection in that lineup.
Zero.
Nothing to, like, all you have to do to game plan against the Nationals is say, let's not let this guy beat us. I don't care about anybody else. You don't game plan for anybody else there. So props to him. It's definitely a down year, but props to him.
I read or saw something the other day that said apparently his chase rate outside the zone has gone up this year. So
yeah,
there's got to be an
pressing.
Yeah,
he's got to do all the work.
Yeah, there's got to be an element there where he recognizes he's not getting a single pitch.
He's probably
to hit.
bored. Exactly. He's probably bored, dude. He's like, I want to hit, and no one's giving me anything because no one wants to deal with me because there's no one else protecting me in this lineup. So honestly, good for Juan to be able to do what he's still doing. Jock, look, I mean, okay, he's got a 0.8 WAR.
All things considered, he's not having a bad year.
It's not bad. It's just it shows that there's a big drop off in the outfield category for the NL.
Yeah,
big drop off.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't really have many answers for the NL in terms of outfield. Like
15 home runs, 37
really
RBIs, OPS plus a 148, which is pretty good. Just under, tick under OPS plus or OPS of a 900. He's at 897. So I mean, yeah, like cool. That's not bad.
He's putting some charges into balls. I know that.
I mean, what about guys like Brandon Nimmo? What's he doing? I know he started off hot. Is he getting any love? Let's see here. 1.9 WAR, hitting 268. OPS plus a 121. I mean, it's better. Like, there's no way Cody Bellinger should have more votes than Brandon Nimmo. Adam Duvall has had a down year. What is he doing that high up? You know, it's a big drop off. How about Ian Happ, dude?
Yeah, give a little love to Ian Happ.
Ian Happ might have to get in there. 2.5 WAR, hitting 291, 8 jacks, 34 ribs, OPS plus a 143. What's up with that? I mean, that guy's way down the list. Way down there. Below guys like Dylan Carlson, Tyler O'Neill, Schwarber, Bader, Bellinger, Canna. You tell me those guys belong above Ian Happ? Just because you're not watching Cubs games so much anymore? I know Profar isn't going to jump off the page numbers wise, but I got to give that guy a lot of credit for what he's provided to the Padres. This is just, I'm not saying he needs to be up there in votes. I just think, a little shout out to Jerks and Profar for, again, I love when guys just fit the mold for their team. Go plug a hole, find that position, and he's doing amazingly defensively. Good for him. That's cool. He's a big reason why they're succeeding right now.
Hopping over to the American League real quick. Before we do that, though.
It's a good time. It's a good time for it.
It's a good time. Well, first of all, I'll tell you about SeatGeek. And before you pause, relax. Before you just speed through the ad read, can I just take a second to tell you about how great SeatGeek is? Yes, I'm talking to you.
Me?
I've used SeatGeek. Nate has used SeatGeek.
Yep.
And then, unlike a couple of vendors that we've used in the past, we haven't had any issues with cancellations or refunds or anything. We haven't had that kind of issue with SeatGeek. So
it's true.
Right off the bat, you're in a better spot with SeatGeek. But Nate, SeatGeek is the answer to all your ticket needs. Are you looking for tickets? Do you have plans of friends or family to make it to an upcoming game or concert? Or are you even looking months ahead to nail down a date to get tickets before they sell out? With SeatGeek, you can find tickets to games, concert shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks, or make it even better for you if you're a first-time user of SeatGeek. Next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code the number 3, the number 0, take pod. That's our social handle at checkout to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. Nick, that's all you got to do to save some of that.
It's cash. It's just cold hard cash. What are you against? You don't like saving money?
Would you rather spend the money? That makes a lot of sense.
Weird. Oh?
Makes a lot of sense. That's all you got to do to save some of that.
Running it back. Cold hard cash. Again?
I've repeated myself twice in this ad read. Not a good run through. Enter promo code the number 3, the number 0, take pod at checkout. SeatGeek. Hey, before you tell me about your favorite gum, I feel like I was dealt instant karma yesterday. I don't know if you saw the story on my way to work that I posted yesterday morning when I was throwing shade at a particular license plate frame that I saw.
Yes.
Yes. It was, so there's apparently there's a Yankees fan that lives in this little town of mine, and they have a Yankees license plate that says Yankees in 7 or Yankees 7 or something. I don't know. And then they have the license plate frame. It says, World Series champions, 2009. And I looked at it because I was right behind him sitting at the red light. And I was like, you know what? That looks awfully dirty. And I'm like, well, it makes sense because that was what, 13 years ago? Is that right? 13 years ago? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it probably would be collecting a lot of dirt. So then I post the story, just letting you know, like, maybe this is the year that they finally get to replace it. I mean, I feel bad for them. They probably need to update that. On my way home, I get a flat tire. So that was fun. So I'm sitting there on the side of the road, literally just thinking about that Instagram story that I shared. And I just had to sit in that for a couple hours while.
Yeah, I love it. Baseball gods just they control a little bit more than just baseball, I think.
Apparently they have a hand in the automobile industry.
Was it a nail, screw?
Dude,
Did you get in
the
there?
thing, I don't even know what it was, but it was probably a good 3 inches long. Just
Yikes.
a shard of metal. I'm like,
that's bigger than a patch, huh?
I was like, this thing doesn't stand a chance.
Can they patch it?
They were able to patch it, yeah.
Yeah? Wow.
Yeah. But all that to say,
that's nice.
Not a good day for old KC. Anyway,
do you know how to change a tire?
So we have AAA. We have AAA. So they came out, and I honestly, God, I
do you
told
have a spare?
Meredith, I have a spare, but I told Meredith, I was like, this tire. First of all, I haven't had those rear tires replaced. I don't think since I've owned the car, because I was trying to track down where they were. So I'm like, honestly, they're probably at the end of the road anyway. I haven't checked their tread in a minute. And so we're like, well, let's just get AAA out here. And he's like, well, we actually can, despite this shard of metal being pierced through and just like completely destroying it. He's like, we can inflate it right here on the spot. We can patch it up and save you the trip to the shop or whatever, save you the extra money. Like, all right, that's fine. So that's what we ended up doing. But I was already looking for places to get the tires replaced. I was like, there's no way this thing stands a chance. But yeah, no, to answer your question, I haven't changed a tire since driver's ed when I was 15. So it's been 13 years since the one and only time that I've changed a tire. But if I was really in a jam, I'd get it. But I was like, we have AAA.
Couple TikTok videos. Got to look it up.
I'm not gonna mess with it. Yeah. Let me go down a YouTube rabbit hole real quick on the side of the road. Anyway, tell me about Big League Chew.
All right, the boys over at BLC, founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson. Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubble gum has become the #1 shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum and head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram, to show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of retailers or purchase any of their products directly from their website at BigLeagueChew.com. Big League Chew, BLC, if you're a part of the OG crew.
Let's cruise through these American League positions. At the top, we've got Alejandro Kirk. The Blue Jays. Let me just preface it by saying the Blue Jays fan base.
Yeah, all of Canada came out to vote for this, I guess.
Yeah, they're like, we're not running away with the division like we thought, so let's just go with the second best option and vote all our guys into the All-Star game, apparently.
Yeah. He's had a good year. I would say, Jose Trevino has very similar numbers. I don't know as far as games played goes. You want to look up Kirk?
I'm looking up Perez. Look up Kirk. I didn't even think Trevino was in the conversation, to be honest with you.
His numbers are basically the same as Kirk.
Sal Perez has 11 bombs. He's hitting .211. 34 ribbies, OPS of 680, OPS plus of 89.
Yeah, that's no bueno. How many games has he played?
Sal Perez this year, 57 games.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely Kirk gets the nod here. 2.9 WAR, 8 jacks, hitting 307 in 60 games. OPS at 882, well above Sally Perez. OPS plus a 151.
All right, so Kirk gets a nod there. First base, Vladdy Jr.
Hold on. Let me can I just give Trevino a little shout out here? It's a small shout out for never playing.
I didn't anticipate spending the entire podcast going through the All-Star voting, but here we are.
45 games, he's got 6 jacks, sitting 283 with a 2.2 WAR. OPS plus a 134. He's really not that far behind Kirk. You give him another 15 games, Kirk is he's probably beating Kirk out. So there's no way Alejandro Kirk deserves 3 times the amount of votes that Jose Trevino is getting, but
well, that goes
digress.
back to the entire issue we addressed at the beginning of this podcast. First base, Vladdy Jr. Coming at number 2, Ty France.
You already know about me. Of this list, for where he is put, Luis Arias. Pay attention.
Yeah.
That guy's a stud. Leads the league in hitting. But again, you get put in this category, you get put in this position for these guys that they need to add a utility position. 100% need to add a utility. The way we have DH for both leagues, they need to add a utility position for both leagues. For guys like this that can play multiple positions and absolutely deserve some looks.
Didn't a manager come out and say that? I thought I saw some quote
Buck
card
did.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buck did.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He was talking about his guy Guillermo, but I mean, another guy in that category, Arias, DJ LeMahieu, Guillermo, the guys, Chris Taylor, right? Those guys that you write them in the lineup wherever anybody ever needs a day off, you're putting that guy in. Give some love, dude. Luis Arias definitely needs some. There's no way he should be, 4th on this list. And Ty France as well.
Second base. So I'm actually curious. I need to look up Andres Jimenez because I've seen a lot of clamoring for him.
Yeah, he needs some looks.
Pull up Altuve and I'll pull up Jimenez. See,
1.5 WAR for Altuve.
2.6 WAR for Andres.
13 jacks.
7 for Andres.
Okay. 24 ribeyes.
33.
Hitting 269.
Hitting 304.
OPS of 854.
834.
OPS plus a 143.
137.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of added pop. He's got 3 stolen bases as well.
5.
Yeah, so I think it's just a little added pop for Jose and the name. But I definitely get that.
See, like that's a race that I can get behind when you got the Guardians being like, this guy deserves to be in the All-Star game. Okay, you're making a valid case. But like when you got, like I'm just trying to think of an example. Like, I mean, David Fletcher is 7th. Come on now.
Yeah, he's barely played. Glaber,
hurt.
I think I'd take probably Glaber over some of these guys.
How about Trevor Story climbing the charts? How about that?
Glaber's got 13 jacks. Same conversation as Altuve. 32 ribeyes. OPS of 821. OPS plus a 133. It's right there. Just saying.
All right. Speaking of another race that I've really got my eye on, third base, Rafael Devers and Jose Ramirez. Rafael Devers coming in at 1. Jose Ramirez coming in at 2.
Close too. Real
I gotta
close.
say, if I'm being honest with you, I feel like Jose Ramirez, if it ended today, I feel like he gets a nod.
What a slap in the face that Rendon is sitting 6th. Get out of here. Yandy Diaz at 10, but you're going to put Rendon at 6? People don't know what they're talking about.
You're just
dude.
highlighting the issue that this whole podcast is about.
So you're saying you go with Jose?
Pull
You
up
go
Jose.
J-Ram?
I'll pull up Rafi.
3-5 WAR,
3.8 WAR for Rafi.
16 jacks,
16.
hitting 302.
328.
Oh, hey-oh. OPS of 1023.
981.
Oh, okay. OPS plus of 189.
167.
Oh.
How many
12
ribbies?
stolen bases.
Yeah, 2 for Rafi. He's not a speedster.
Yeah.
How many ribbies he got?
62, leading the league.
Okay. Yeah, Rafi's got 43, but that's coming out of
Give me J-Ram.
That's coming out of the 2-hole.
Yeah. Give me J-Ram.
Rafi's got 90 hits. I think he's, last I checked, still leading all of baseball. 90 hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I think if it ended today, unfortunately, I'd have to give the nod to J-Ram, but I mean, having a great year.
Yeah.
Having an absolute great year. Shortstop.
Not Bo Bichette. This is incorrect.
Absolutely
Sorry.
not Bo Bichette. I mean, does Tim Anderson get that? I don't think so, right?
I'll pull up TA, you pull up Xander.
Tell you what, man, my guy Xander just having another outstanding year.
1-7 WAR for TA.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and give Xander a 3-1.
Yikes. 5 jacks. Not TA's game, but
6 for Xander. He's still a little slow in the power category this year.
hitting 358.
335 for Xander.
OPS at 894.
OPS, you said? 883.
OPS plus a 153.
144.
8
How many
stolen bases.
I mean, I know he's up there in the order. Xander's typically cleanup, so he's got 31 ribbies, but
19 for TA.
yeah.
I think I might lean towards TA actually, just slightly.
Yeah, I could admit that. Look at that, man. The left side of my infield, I'm giving the nod to other guys. I mean,
Proud of you.
That's an integrity move right there.
Yeah.
DH.
Also, shout out for Jeremy Pena too. I think he deserves some love.
Jeremy Pena having a great year.
Yeah. DH. Yeah. Good. I'm good with Jordan.
Good with
the guy's
Jordan.
a freak.
And lastly here, outfielders, Aaron Judge, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Trout,
Mm-hmm.
and George Springer.
Oh man, this outfield is hands down
Way
the better
deeper.
outfield. Yeah, way deeper. I'm gonna pull up Buxton. You want to pull up Springer?
Yeah, that's actually the guy I had my eye on. Just
Byron Buxton.
the eye test.
Yeah. It's cooled off quite a bit, but 2.2 WAR, 2.2.
1.9 for Springer.
19 jacks,
13 for Springer.
hitting 228.
260 for Springer.
That's a big drop off. 33 ribeyes.
34 for Springer.
OPS at 882.
823 for Springer.
OPS plus a 149.
132 for Springer. So again, this is just Blue Jays fans coming out in droves.
Yeah.
Not to say
Yeah.
I'm not saying Springer hasn't had a great year thus far. He's had a very good year, but
Yeah.
again, comes down to the voting process. I
don't think Stanton should be this high in the votes.
give Buxton the nod just for kicks. So let me pull up Ward's numbers.
I mean, give me some Austin Hayes love. Way down on the list.
All right. Okay. A little disrespected Taylor Ward here. I apologize. Pull up Buxton's numbers again.
Okay.
I've got a 2-3 WAR for Taylor
2-2.
Ward.
2-2.
11 bombs.
19.
310.
228.
29 ribbies.
33.
On base of 409.
312.
OPS of 978.
882.
OPS plus a 177.
149.
Okay. Yeah, Taylor Ward's my pickies.
Third guy.
I don't know why I just
outfielder.
completely glossed over him. That's on me. Taylor Ward's my number 3. I would go Judge, Trout, Ward, Buxton, Springer.
I would too, I think. Yeah.
You guys having
let's
a
get
great
Ward
year.
there.
Good for Taylor Ward. Speaking of the Angels.
Also, I mean, shout out to the Blue Jays for, again, I think this, I don't know if it's just Canada, but I mean, three outfielders in the top 10, all 3 of them. Gurriel, Teoscar, and Springer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very good for the Blue Jays. But speaking of the Angels, Nate, let's talk about real quick the history that Shohei just made these last couple of nights. Tuesday comes out and hits 2 bombs, sets a career high mark of 8 ribbies, which, by the way, the Angels lost that game. Don't know if you saw that. Never led in that game.
No.
I think I saw something that said, I got it right here. Ohtani is the only player in MLB history to drive in 8+ while his team never held a lead.
Yeah.
That's the kind of history I'm fascinated in.
What was that late game 2 3-run jack that tied it up, right?
Yeah, tied it up.
Late.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember.
8th or 9th, maybe?
Yeah, I want to say the 8th. I might be off.
Real clutch.
That,
and it was a nuke.
Yeah, it was a
ball was launched. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, Shohei needs to be at the All-Star game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll be there. But then follows it up Wednesday nights with a career high 13 Ks.
Yes.
And
let's go.
What's crazy about this? Because I know there's been a recent history of some premier pitchers having an issue with this. Can you believe that the game was delayed by 12 minutes?
Are you kidding?
I mean,
let's start screaming. Let's start yelling at people.
Let's not forget, not too long ago, Garrett Cole.
That guy's just become the softest.
Garrett Cole was citing a 4-minute delay as, quote, an unforeseen challenge. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani had to delay 3 times that and came out and struck out 13 and didn't say a word.
Let's just talk about how Shohei puts up 59 points in fantasy in 2 days. Wow.
Yeah, that's
19 points for that 8 RBI night.
That's pretty good.
40 for what he did on the bump.
Talking about numbers, Shohei was hitting 99 in the 7th, which I know you've said before, and I've agreed with you. But it's like there's certain history nuggets that we just don't care about. I mean, it's cool that these people are able to like find this information and put it together in a digestible tweet where it's like, oh, Shohei did this. Hasn't been done since Joey Knickerbocker in 1890.
Mm-hmm.
This is impressive. This is really impressive. 8 RBIs and then comes back the next night and follows it up with 13 Ks.
I think it's impressive.
That's worth talking about.
What jumps out at me is it's not the athleticism. It's not about the chucking 99, hitting 99. To me, it's about the focus it takes to go back to back. You know what I'm saying? That's the huge focus. Is like for you to have a night locked in at the plate and then you turn around and stay locked in for a completely different type of focus. That's the stuff that impresses me. I think that's the coolest thing about Ohtani is that it's when he can string together both at the same time, right? We're most impressed with switch hitters that stay hot at the same time, right? We're infatuated with those switch hitters that are capable of putting up similar numbers on both sides. Same thought process has to go with Shohei. When you're doing the same thing on both sides consistently, that's where you're like, now I understand why you are a global superstar. Now I get it. You know, what he's done on the mound as of late outside of this last start, it's been right? So when you string together that constant focus, that's 48 hours of being locked in at the top of your game. That is what stands out to me. And this was last night on the bump. This was Tuesday or Wednesday on the bump, right?
Yep, Wednesday.
So now I'm curious to see how he goes into this weekend offensively. If he stays hot offensively, then he follows up next week with another solid start. You're like, okay, this guy can carry a team. This guy can absolutely carry a team on his own if he's dialed in with both. And that's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask, and the Angels need it, dude. They need that. It's the only hope they have is him being able to stay hot on both sides of the ball for a good month stretch.
Speaking of being hot, these 4th of July hats are no such thing.
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. What are we doing?
Who? At New Era. Who? I need names.
I need names. I saw a tweet that pretty much best summarized my thoughts on the hat collection for 4th of July. And that it was, somebody said, these hats will go great with my Old Navy American flag shirts.
Big time.
Like if you know the Old Navy American flag.
If you didn't have one of those growing up, you didn't live. You didn't have a childhood.
That was a staple. Every year they came out with a new version of the classic American flag Old Navy shirt.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that best summarizes it. Like, you put that duo together and you got yourself an outfit. But
yeah,
other than that, I just don't understand. And I don't understand why they're putting the stars and stripes on the Blue Jays hat. Like, how many people did that have to go through? Nobody. You're telling me nobody said anything?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
For the 50 fans that are American and Blue Jays fans.
Yeah, it's like you're in a weird spot. It's like, I understand that you're not going to put the Canadian flag for the 4th of July game because it's like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, because at least with the American flag, you have some of both. But
the whole point of this is that the hat sucks. It's not a good hat.
No, I mean, it's an anecdote for sure. The Blue Jays
that's
thing,
like,
but altogether,
that's like when you're traveling and like you're on a road trip and you pass through a state that you're not familiar with, and you walk into a gas station and you're seeing like that team's random apparel in a gas station. That's that hat.
Yeah, and it's on one of those little stands that has other generic weird hats that you can like spin and look at.
Yeah.
It's got the mirror on top. You can try it on.
Right.
Fasten up a little bit. Check yourself out in the mirror.
The $2.50 sunglasses right next door.
Right next door.
Yep. That's that hat. You might as well just go full. I mean, my granddad rocks those foam trucker hats. You might as well just go full skid here and get the foam front trucker hat. Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Because this is awful. New Era, someone's got to step up and compete for this contract, because New Era is just absolutely miserable.
New Era is falling off the rails.
They've lost it. Did Disney purchase them as well? Because anything Disney touches nowadays just goes to...
Apparently, yeah. Might
ESPN and New Era hang out together for sure.
Oh, for sure. Lastly here, before we get into the 3-0 fake, number 7, Chemtrails, wanted to address these Manny comments. Talking about Derek Jeter. I think you and I are in the same boat. You and I have the full context, unlike a lot of these people making comments on it.
Just not really willing to spend the extra 90 seconds to learn a little bit more about it.
Be better, people.
Yeah.
Like, not just with this, but with anything. Just take the extra time to look into it, even if you just read an article. One article, that's all I ask. Or maybe like a brief 30-second info video on something. Just be better. Stop reading headlines.
Yeah.
Understand that these...
Just read.
Just
Do you know how to read?
Just read. Like, you have to understand that these companies, these brands, these organizations are doing this on purpose, because if you put out a quote such as this with zero context behind it, they're going to get the reaction that they're looking for, and the reaction that many people that didn't understand what the full conversation was about, and they got that reaction, and they offered that reaction. And so you're just feeding the machine. So we ask you, we beg you, be better, read. That's really it. You'll help yourself out so much more in the long run. Just trust us. Stop buying into the sound bites. Stop buying into the quotes.
It's an epidemic, dude. It's everything. Like, I saw a post the other day that was when MLB released like the top vote getters for the AL. And I'm just scrolling through the comments, just curious. And someone commented, I really hate that Mookie isn't on this list. I hope he gets back soon. AL, bro. Like, read. What are you doing? What are you talking about? And he is the top vote getter in the other league. Like, what? Are you... What is wrong with people? Read. Specifically with this quote. Start off by saying, I think both you and I can agree we're on opposite sides of the spectrum. We can both agree that both of these players have massive respect for each other.
And they're both very talented baseball players.
Yeah, like both legends, for sure.
I don't understand what we're talking about.
Right.
So the quote that was going around erroneously said, if you put Jeter in Kansas City, he was just a regular player. Let's zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's give you some context to the situation before he jumped down Manny's throat.
Yeah.
He said, you got to understand this. If you haven't played in Boston or New York, you're not in the big leagues. It's like if you put Jeter in Kansas City in those years, he was just a regular player. He's the greatest. It makes you better because you've got to be ready, because they will let you know. They will let you know when you're not right. To be honest with you, when I was with Cleveland, I was playing and I was a good player. But when I came to Boston, I got better because of the fans. They will let you know that you weren't playing right. They push you.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all that, Millar, when he said if you put him in Kansas City, it was just a regular player, Kevin Millar, who was in the booth with him at the time, jumps in and says, yeah, if you put him out on the stage, on the biggest stage like you did, and he's hitting 400 in the postseason, he's one of the greatest of all time. And that's when Manny followed up and said, yeah, he's the greatest. So, again, just read.
Yeah.
I was making the mistake before we hopped on of just reading through some of these tweets about people's in response to the quote cards and all that. And all these people are saying, Manny's just so arrogant. He's so caught up in himself, and he's incredibly jealous of Jeter and his career and his success. And I'm like,
what are you talking about? No idea what you're talking about.
Like one of the comments was like, why would you take a snip at Jeter like that? I'm like, and I replied to him. I was like, yeah, nothing says snipping at Jeter like calling him the greatest. People, man, just come on, be better.
Understand. Yeah.
Like, it's not asking much. It literally just look into it.
Well, then you have those people that hate Jeter and do agree with these statements without reading, again, the full article. Yeah, I think it's different. Obviously, there's different expectations for these fan bases. We talked about it last week, right? It's a failed season unless it comes out with a trophy. If that season does not have the outcome of you hoisting the trophy at the end, it's a failed season. How many franchises can you say that about? There's not too many, probably less than 5 league-wide. I would argue. And this isn't like during this window you have a ton of success, we should be winning. This is a year to year for generations standard. It's different. How many guys have we seen be excellent in their own markets and then come over into New York or Boston and struggle mightily, and it snowballs, i.e. Joey Gallo?
Look at Trevor's story. They're asking about his early struggles this season. He goes,
"Guy got booed out the house."
He goes, I had never been booed once in Colorado.
No.
And he gets over and he's getting booed on a nightly basis in Boston until he starts turning it on a little bit.
There's different standards. There's different expectations. And when you can live up to that, that puts you in a different level. It puts you in a different tier in my mind. And I think it's a little bit of a different comparison because we did see Manny in other uniforms where we never saw Jeter in anything else. So I think it's a little hard to go, tit for tat on that.
But in that regard, he can speak from experience because he was referencing his days in Cleveland. He's like, I've been in both. I can say from experience what this is actually like.
Yep. He's also been in LA, right? And he's also been in Tampa. So another small market to big market, back and forth. He understands it. He gets it. He, if anybody, knows really well the different types of markets. And every person on the outside that had that experience is saying it hits different, right? For the Yankee side, you hear like Cameron Maybin and CeCe talking about when you put on pinstripes, the jersey feels heavier. You got guys on the Red Sox saying the same thing. When you go to that organization, the jersey is heavier. The expectations are larger. There's more weight on your shoulders. When you live up to that, you're immortalized. You're immortalized.
It's a fact.
I think it's just a little bit different because I think there's a jealousy with Derek Jeter. I really do. I really think there's a jealousy with guys that their story is well documented, that they've lived their actual dream. That guy actually lived and is living his dream. Every dream that you and I and most of us listeners have, he lived it. And there's hate on him for no reason. The dude manifested his career and it happened. I think that's what's wild to me. And I don't understand the hate, but I don't think it'll ever stop.
As we've made clear, no hate from Manny. Nothing but
no hate from Manny. Yeah. And I love that, dude. When those guys, we're talking peak rivalry. When those guys come out of peak rivalry with respect, that tells you something. And Manny and David Ortiz, those are two guys that every Yankee fan should say, I hated you when you were playing, but I respect the hell out of you because you played it well. You did your thing and you made the rivalry better. It goes both ways.
Speaking of the Red Sox, I haven't let it go unnoticed. I just need to put a little plug in for my boys, all right? 6 straight series wins.
What are they, 16-4 in June?
16 of their last 20. Yeah, 16 and 4. They're 8 games above 500 now, which is you can laugh, but that's quite an accomplishment for considering how they started off the year. I mean, it's really all I need to say right now. You can look at the competition.
What was the low point? Low point was like 12 games under 500.
It was not good.
That was the floor, right? I think that was the lowest we saw. That really does say something to turn things around.
And they've been hovering. I don't know, because I know there's some games going on right now. I don't know where they stand. So they own one of the wild card spots right now, which again, it's June 23rd, so I'm not gonna put too much stock into that. But considering where they came from, that's quite an accomplishment. So, I mean, I don't know, Nate. Like, when are we gonna start taking the Red Sox serious?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just kind of get lost in the mix of what that division looks like right now, I think you could still consider the Red Sox a threat, even though we could probably agree that the division is most likely not in
Division's
contention
out
for them.
I'll admit that on June 23rd. Division's out.
But I mean, there's still a top 10 team right now, at least.
If I compile a power rankings list, they're in my top 10.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, and it's the only reason they're not in a bigger conversation is just the start they had. But you're watching guys, wake up offensively, and it makes sense. You're like, I had a feeling it was coming eventually. They're a talented team, but they are, they're now above the Rays. And it just shows how good this division is. The Rays are 5 games over 500, and they're currently in 4th place. They'd be in the conversation for a lot of leagues. Or a lot of divisions, I should say. So this division is it's tough. And the Red Sox are rolling, man.
When are people going to start taking the Red Sox seriously? We do not know. When are we going to start taking chemtrails seriously? When are we going to start?
I don't know what they are. Let's break it down. Talk to me, Goose.
The 3-0 fake number 7 chemtrails.
The 3-0 fake.
All right, so as usual,
see if I see any out there.
As usual, we head to Wikipedia, the most trusted source in the world, for a little background.
All I'll say before you read anything off of what they are, I will raise my hand. I will admit I have no idea what they are. I thought it's basically just all our pooping and peeing coming out that hole at one time.
Of the airplane? Like underneath the bottom? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, chemtrails are the condensation trails that you see coming out of the backs of planes when they're flying. Those white cloud-like lines you see across the sky.
Yeah.
So, according to Wikipedia tells me that the chemtrail conspiracy theory posits the erroneous belief that long-lasting condensation trails are chemtrails consisting of chemical or biological agents left in the sky by high-flying aircraft sprayed for nefarious purposes undisclosed to the general public.
What? They're not even admitting what it is? That's why this is a conspiracy.
No, they're saying the people that believe this conspiracy.
Oh.
Well, let me back up. Contrails, or are what I believe are the commonly referred to,
not chemtrails,
trails that you see coming out of the plane. But the chemtrails are basically a name assigned to the same thing by the people that believe this conspiracy. So we're going to look into this briefly.
I'm not seeing any out my window.
So there are no mind control agents being dropped from the sky in Arizona.
It's good. It's good. I don't know what they are, though.
Claim that U.S. government is spraying toxic brew of chemicals from airplanes. My favorite thing about all of these conspiracies is you go to these articles and it's like these political websites or like these government websites, and it's like, don't believe it. It's not true.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. That's what they say about the birds, too.
Wild, man.
.gov. Get out of here.
Is there a worldwide government conspiracy to poison us all by spraying chemicals out of the 15,000 aircraft crisscrossing the globe at any given moment?
Wow.
Unreal.
What would you say it is? What do you think? What if it's just cotton candy? How about that? A little devil's advocate for you guys.
Look at you putting a positive spin on this.
What if it's just cotton candy floating up there? slowly working its way down. Bet you'd love that. Airborne cotton candy?
Extraordinary belief is important to look at because many individuals believe the government has a secret plan to harm their citizens. Well, I mean, you don't need to look at a conspiracy theory to understand that.
Yeah, there's too much money in our medical system here in the States, so.
These chemicals are supposedly put in jets by the government for various goals such as for-profit solar radiation management, weather modification, mind control, human population control, and biological warfare.
Whoa.
Now, here's the thing. Also it says that it's also of the belief that they're causing respiratory and other health problems. Now, call me crazy. I could buy into the population control component. Like the mind control, no, that's a little much.
Yeah,
that's a little much
stretch
for me. The weather modification, call me simple-minded, but I don't know what you
I'll
necessarily
buy into the
have.
respiratory.
Yeah, I don't know what you have to gain from modifying the weather. I'm sure there's money in that. There's money in everything, apparently.
Yeah.
Solar radiation management, I'm not smart enough to even know really what that is. I could go with the human population control component. I could buy that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of
We're
freaking people on this
overpopulated.
planet.
We're overpopulated, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Tone it down, people. Tone it down.
Resources are...
You don't need 8 kids.
No, you don't. Resources are limited, folks. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not this endless supply of resources.
Yeah. Unless there's cotton candy in those chemtrails. Different story there. Different story if that's true.
I mean, if it is cotton candy, I could understand why people would be having 7, 8 kids because you would want as many people to be able to enjoy that as possible.
Yeah. Maybe it's just never working its way down here, and birds, those fake birds are just flying around.
Yeah, those
snagging
drones.
the cotton candy before we can.
It's all just a game to them,
Yeah.
Let's drop this cotton candy from the airplanes and we'll have our government drones pick it up before it even makes it to the earth.
Yeah.
What a shame.
So overall, we don't know what it is. It's just stuff.
I mean,
just stuff. What if it's like, those people that like try to get through, security, and they've got like a giant bottle of shampoo and they somehow sneak it in, just like it gets under the radar a little bit, and they're like, no. Supposed to be 3 ounces, but I got 12 ounces of shampoo getting through here. What if 9 of those ounces is what's in that chemtrail? Someone's just underneath and he's like, no. You snuck way too much shampoo on your trip. We're going to let some loose here.
now that I could buy.
We got to let off some weight. We're a little heavy on this plane. You got to air it out a little bit. Too much perfume and shampoo and toothpaste on this plane. Yeah.
See, this is stuff like this. This is what is interesting to me. It says there are no scientific findings of chemicals in these trails. Apparently, people have done tests. But here's what's interesting. And for the soil test, scientists say that whoever collected the samples did not do so properly. Of course the scientists are going to say that. If they're backed by the government,
yeah.
They're going to tell you
True.
what the government wants to tell you. So
yeah, they're getting some government funding, some
no
grants. Doubt. Yeah.
So all that to say, to wrap it up here, put a
it's either cotton candy or it's deadly. One of the two. There's no in between.
It's either cotton candy or population control. That is our takeaway. For those wondering, that's our takeaway.
Yeah.
And
maybe
that, my
clouds
friends,
aren't real.
Maybe clouds aren't real. Maybe that's cotton candy.
I'd love
Maybe
that.
we're all just cotton candy. That's all I got. Unless you got anything else for the Chasers.
No. Great job. Are we gonna pick our next week 3-0 fake, or are we gonna sit on that for a little bit? Maybe we should.
I was talking with somebody about it. All-star voting to me is a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, like seriously, I was thinking about it more after I said it. And I was like, you know what? Like, think about it. All-star voting, it bumps up engagement, it increases profits over the long term.
Yeah.
And then maybe Major League Baseball just puts out who they want to put out.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an algorithm for who's going to bring in the most money, who's going to bring in the most viewership.
I think we spent the last hour and a half proving that. I think conspiracy has definitely been proven. So props to us for cracking that one wide open.
Yeah. We'll sit on it. I don't know if I want to choose it this episode. Cool. Maybe we'll sit on it, surprise the people. Or maybe we'll leave it up to them. Because people, believe it or not, people have been hitting me up in the messages being like, no, you should do this. You should do this. So maybe we leave number 8 up to the people.
Yeah. 3-0 fake. I'm with it. That's cool with me.
Keep it coming.
Well, that's it. Peace out, everybody. Boys are going on vacation. Bachelor party, Lake Tahoe.
You're flying. Watch out for those chemtrails.
Yeah, about to get on that plane. I'll let you know. Keep an eye out for cotton candy. So I'll tell you what I see up there. And I will make sure that I, do something in that bathroom and see what's in there. Maybe I'll get cotton candy, put it through the toilet, let it fly out that little hole.
At the very least,
just take
manifest it. Don't just throw this grand idea out there. Make it happen.
Just let it fall down.
Keep
an eye out. Keep an eye out in the next. Well, actually, by the time you hear this, cotton candy will be well onto the ground.
I can get it out there quick.
All right.
Keep an eye out for the cotton candy.
Peace out, everybody. Get happy, get fat, watch some baseball, but don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.